ago, police investigating two active shootings in Louisville today, not far from each other.
Right, and not the only thing we really know about the victim in that shooting is that he is a man. No other ID or information. We do know that he was transported to U of L, but unfortunately passed away. This is such a tragic day for Louisville. I was doing some research on gun violence today, and it is eye-opening when you Google something like that, and over 100 events pop up related to gun violence.
We spoke with Whitney Austin earlier. She was shot 12 times just 4 years ago in Cincinnati outside a bank there. And she said this brings back so many memories to her, and as did the Nashville shooting. She said she hasn't had time to recover from that shooting when this shooting happens. And she said she's taking an active role in trying to prevent these situations from happening.
Yeah, and the mayor also talked about being a victim of gun violence when he was running for mayor. Someone walked in and shot him. He was grazed. It was a terrible situation. So I can only imagine how tough this day is for them who have lived through something similar.
Colonel Payne joined us earlier, and we were asking, what can we do? What can we do as individuals to prevent this? And he said the first and foremost thing is to be aware of your surroundings and to have a plan in case something like this happens. We want to think nothing like this is going to happen. We'd say nothing like this is going to happen in Louisville. And here we are.
Yep.
So he said it's best to have a plan, sit down with your family tonight, talk about your plan at home, your plan at work, your plan when you're at a ball game or you're out together.
It's hard to have those conversations, not conversations that we want to have,
but they're conversations, life-saving conversations that we have to have, especially as parents. It's hard to think about what happened in Nashville with the school there. I was just in Nashville about a week ago, and there's still a lot of hard times that they're going through after the shooting there at the private school. This will be a day that will be very difficult for a very long time for all of us to get through.
And there are places to go for help if you don't know how to have that conversation with your 5-year-old child, your 10-year-old child, your teenager, or your parent. You know, there are places to go to get help, to form the right words, and how to prepare your family for this and not terrify everyone when you're talking about it.
Age-appropriate words.
You know?
Yeah, right. And again, the mayor has set up the Family Assistance Center at the Kentucky International Convention Center at 3rd and Market. That's going to be a place where you can get some resources. You can talk to somebody if you just don't know how to handle what happened today or verbalize what happened today. There are going to be officials there who can help you and walk you through how to deal with and talk to your family about what's happened and how to respond to this situation. Because sometimes it's tough to find the words in situations like this.
Well, we talked with Sadiqa Reynolds just a few hours ago about she lives near that area and she heard the shots fired. And while you think you are prepared, she wasn't. She was terrified. She went into the inner portion of her home and locked the doors and got on the phone to try to find out what happened. Even if you were not in that building, but you were in the surrounding area, you were terrified today.
Absolutely.
When you heard that there was a mass shooting going on.
My heart just sank. I thought, not again, not the day after Easter. We just got through Nashville and what happened there.
So, of course, we're thinking our prayers, our thoughts are with those who died today in this tragedy, those who were injured, and also to Officer Nick Wilt, 26 years old, had just graduated from the police academy on March 31st, had only been on the job a few weeks at the most, underwent brain surgery. Dr. Smith tells us he is in critical but stable condition. Our thoughts and prayers go out to he and his family.
All right, good evening to you. I'm Jennifer Bayless.
And I'm Vicki George. For those of you who are joining us for the 5 o'clock newscast, we will continue live team coverage of this deadly mass shooting in downtown Louisville.
Now, just a short time ago, LMPD, city and state officials released new details about the shooting and the victims.
The shooting happened this morning at the Old National Bank branch on East Main Street. That's near Slugger Field. Louisville police say Connor Sturgeon killed 4 people. 9 other people rushed to the University Hospital. That included 2 LMPD officers who were shot. and the gunman was also found dead.
And we know Officer Nicholas Welch was shot in the head and is in critical condition tonight following brain surgery earlier today. The 26-year-old officer just graduated less than 2 weeks ago from the academy.
The other victims are identified. They are 63-year-old Thomas Elliott, 40-year-old Joshua Barrett, 45-year-old Juliana Farmer, and 64-year-old James Tutt.
And Mark Vanderhoff was at a 3 p.m. briefing where we learned these details about the shooter and the victims. Let's go to him now live. Mark?
Yeah, Jennifer, Vicky, this is a day that will not be forgotten here in Louisville. And this press conference here a short while ago, I got to tell you, it was very emotional. Police say that they got the call around 8:30. It was a call of an active shooter at that Old National Bank on Main Street in downtown, right next to Slugger Field. Now, police say they had officers there in minutes, and they were instantly engaged in a firefight with that shooter. Now, early on in the day, it was unclear whether the shooter took his own life or whether he was shot by police. But here at this press conference a short while ago, Chief Royale said that it was police who fired the shot that killed that shooter. They have identified the shooter as Connor Sturgeon, 23. They say he was a bank employee, but they haven't said anything about what his motive might have been. They were very tight-lipped about that, saying that this is an ongoing investigation, and they wanted the focus to be on the victims and their families. Now, the victims are Joshua Barrick, Tommy Elliott, Juliana Farmer, and Jim Tutt. 9 people were sent to the hospital, including 2 officers who were shot in that firefight. One of those officers was shot in the head, and he underwent brain surgery today. Let's hear from the chief about that.
That's one of the worst moments within any police chief's tenure being in this position. To hear that any of your officers have been injured in any kind of way, but critically injured. But it's also, too, it rubs me and it just rots my world to have anybody being injured and losing their life. And so I am just truly, I have so much respect for the families because they were still present and were very appreciative of what was done and how LMPD responded today. And they were actually embracing me as I was embracing them. But let me say this, the evil that took place today, we shouldn't hear the tears that were coming out from these families.
Yeah, the chief was very emotional today. At one point, you could tell she was teary-eyed. Also, Mayor Craig Greenberg and Governor Andy Beshear, both of them knew one of the executives there at Old National Bank, Mr. Elliott. And you can just imagine how the families are feeling right now. Our prayers go out to them. For now, I am live at MetroSafe, the Emergency Command Center. Mark Vanderhoff, WLKY News.
Very, very emotional press conference that was held at 3 o'clock. Tears were and voices were breaking, tears were flowing from many of the officials out there.
And WLKY's Madeline Carter has been near the scene there downtown all day long. Madeline, what's the very latest from you?
That's just sad.
This isn't just a sad day for Louisville. This is a sad day for our country. As a mass shooting happened far too close to home.
When will it stop?
In the heart of downtown Louisville.
When will it
stop?
stop?
Right outside of where this happened and seeing all the reporters from across the United States out here covering this mass shooting that happened right here in our community. Now, I have been out here for all throughout the day, and we were outside of Slugger Field, and just behind me, blocks away, is where this incident took place. This is the Old National Bank building on East Main Street. Now, police have been out here all day long. We've seen investigators, we've seen the FBI coming in to figure out what exactly led up to this incident. And if you take a closer look, you can still see bullet holes in the glass.
Oh my God.
There is evidence that investigators are up there trying to, piece together the facts to figure out what went on here. It was on the first floor where the Old National Bank sits. And this building, it houses multiple industries, but the bank is on the first floor. And police say that is where our suspect, just 23 years old, went in with a rifle and killed 4 people.
Ridiculous.
We now know, again, we've been mentioning it, that 4 people died in the shooting. 5 are dead, including the shooter himself. The names of the victims, just want to keep driving that home. It's Tommy Elliott, Jim Tutt, Josh Barrick, and Juliana Farmer, all executives at this bank. And the fact that they lived right here in our community, they're community members in Louisville, this really affects all of us. The victims, their families, anybody who knew them, even our governor and Mayor Craig Greenberg shared emotional moments today when they just spoke about the fact that they knew some of the victims of this tragedy.
Right.
My faith teaches me that while the body is mortal, the soul is eternal. And so I know that I will see Tommy again. And I know that all of these families and friends in this community, we will be reunited in a better place without violence, without the senselessness and hurt that we feel today. We will get through this. We get through this together. It's the only way. We'll march forward, and my hope is that in honor of those that have fallen today or that may still fall, we can be better and we can do better.
Yes.
We care about and love each other just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Today,
Yes.
to honor those that have fallen and as so many families grieve, I'm ordering our flags statewide, fly at half staff until Friday evening, to make sure that we are paying tribute in every single part of this Commonwealth to those that we have lost. We are one Commonwealth.
Today is a day that's heartbreaking for our city,
Yeah.
for all of us, and especially for the people who were in that office at Old National Bank and their loved ones. We just heard the chief give the names of the people who lost their lives in this mass shooting this morning. One of them was Tommy Elliott, a very good friend of mine, of the governor's. To Tommy's family, to the families of Jim Tutt, Josh Barrick, Juliana Farmer, Rachel and I join you, families across our entire city and beyond, in grieving this shocking and painful loss of your lives. The chief, the governor, myself, we visited in the hospital this morning with several of their families to offer them our support and our love during these unthinkable days. We will continue to offer our support and love and anything else we can provide to help them.
Yes. 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 Why people got to do this nonsense?
You
Nonsense.
just heard in their voices there, both
Nonsense.
and Mayor Craig Greenberg fighting back tears as they just explained the gravity of the situation, what happened out here in downtown Louisville this morning. Our entire community and people across the country are mourning lives lost. People who lived right here in Louisville, they worked right here in Louisville. And of course, we're continuing to learn more about the situation surrounding their deaths. It's still an active investigation. We're working to get more details as they unfold in this. We are expecting the scene to remain active. I will say there's less of a police presence out here right now than there was earlier, but we still are seeing police cars, investigators, just trying to piece together what took place out here this morning.
What happened?
We're going to bring any information to you as soon as we get it. For now, I'm live here in downtown Louisville. Madeline Carter, LKY News.
Thank you, Madeline. Let's continue our live team.
Yo, another senseless act. Another major shooting in Louisville. When will it stop? When will it stop? And like they say, the day after Easter,